Welcome, everybody.
That should now have told you. I've definitely pressed record now on my computer, so
Okay, well, it's telling me it's recording.
that's fine.
So,
Morning then.
well, if we do have somebody else recording, at least they'll have the file and can send it to us. Oh,
Right. Oh, okay. I'm an AI assistant helping Kimberly. There we go.
this is so fun. I didn't know that you can do this stuff.
Neither did I. This is exciting. It's like the age of Aquarius has started. I'm the AI assistant having a meeting. There. Okay. So it's our beautiful Kimberly. So at least if we don't have a
Oh,
copy of the recording, Kimberly should have a copy of the recording.
that's fabulous. I did not know that that was a thing.
I told you we need a magical assistant. Right.
Hi, Eliana. It's so mercurial, isn't it? It's so Mercury opposite Pluto and Aquarius.
Uh, yeah, Mercury hasn't got the message, Callie, but never mind.
Yeah. Do you know, I always find the days when she's stationing, when she's changing direction, to be the worst part of the whole retrograde.
Yeah, I said the A1
Mm.
was completely clogged yesterday. Morning, Sally. Nice to see you.
Hello, hello. Some of you I know really well, some of you I don't know. But
It's like,
welcome.
oh, Kimberly
Um,
Marks is now. Oh, it must be early for Kim, surely.
it is, it is. It's super early for the ladies. In the US. I think over the weekend, Laura, who's by Mount Shasta, it was 2 a.m. for her when we started the spiral. Yeah. Please say hello in the comments and let us know whereabouts in the world you are.
And we'll just give a little bit longer just to let people join in. Morning, Kimberly. Kimberly, if the tech fails and you've recorded it on your AI, can we lean on you?
Good morning.
No.
I
Morning.
had a hard time getting in, but I'm here.
Okay, super. I'll just check messages then if people can't get in. Hopefully, you should have all received an email with it all. Did you? Did it go to your junk? Maybe.
Mm. Oh, wow. People from all over the world. The link in the email didn't work.
Was
Okay.
that the link from this morning or the link that came out last night?
It was the link that came out last night from you
Oh,
directly. Yeah. But
Email. Oh,
if you go to the Zoom and directly type in
oh,
the
you can get in.
numbers,
Yeah.
you can get
Okay.
in. So that's actually
Okay.
how
Just let me
what the
double
result
check my
is.
email, see if I've got any shouty emails from people then.
mm.
But it's usually the people that it's meant to be who's meant to be here often. Um,
Well, everyone will receive the recording.
exactly. Yeah. And that's
I just put the number in because the link wouldn't work last night's and this morning's.
how weird is that? Well,
So
apologies, it's my crap tech. So let's just
Oh, yeah.
a
I
few
can just see
in
the,
a few places.
I'll just keep an eye on my messages as well. I've just seen yours, Lynn, but I'm glad you've managed to get in with us. Yeah, because we've had about 80 people sign up, haven't we? So just when you think it's safe, just when you think
Just when
Mercury
you
is
think
going
it's
direct.
safe. Don't let me do the tech, people. I've had no messages from anyone else, so I'll keep my eye on that as we go through. So,
Okay. Yeah, we can just keep an eye and
yeah,
people can receive the recording. If they are desperate to come, they'll send a message. So
absolutely. And plus, it is Tuesday morning, to be fair.
it is. And the conjunction was about 5 a.m. The the Jupiter-Venus conjunction was about 5 a.m. for us this morning. So we're well into the energies of it.
Okay.
Just checking the time.
Yeah,
So,
ready whenever you are. I'll keep an eye out for messages.
fabulous. So we are recording now, yeah?
Yes, definitely. And worst case, Kimberly's recording too.
Fabulous. So welcome everybody to this very special online magical ritual today. I know most of you know me, so I don't need to really introduce myself, but for those who might be listening on the replay, I'm Maria. I am a goddess astrologer and teacher and creatrix of the Stellar Mystery School. And I'm here with the lovely Morgana, who is also an amazing goddess astrologer, mistress of magic, and all-around goddess. So welcome to everybody from both of us. So we're just going to begin by talking a little bit about this astrology and why we are gathered here today. And then we are going to move into the magical section of this offering, where we will be doing some invocations. We'll be journeying to the sacred sites to channel the energy of this auspicious astrological alignment. And then we will be just doing a little bit of practical magic with some Jupiter, Venus, and Sirius sigils. So you will need a pen and paper too, if you haven't already got one. So if you need to go and grab something to write with, please do. So this is such a beautiful astrological moment. And it's going to come in as a bit of a relief, I think, for many of us after that Mercury retrograde, which has been opposite Pluto. It's been very intense for the past couple of weeks. We've had some tricky astrology with the full moon and Mars opposite Saturn. So today we've got the two most beautifully beneficent planets in the cosmos coming together in the sign of Cancer. And Jupiter and Cancer conjunctions, Jupiter and Venus conjunctions are well known for creating an atmosphere of beauty and harmony and healing. And Cancer is the sign of the ancestors. It's the sign of the mother. It's the sign of the homelands. So what better day to offer a ritual of healing for the land and for ourselves. And then when we look a bit further out into the cosmos, we can see that Jupiter and Venus are also in conjunction with the star Sirius. And Sirius is also known as the mother star. She's very much connected with the goddesses Isis, Sophis, Sopdet, and we're going to hear a beautiful invocation about her later. But this is a very beneficent star. This is a very beneficent triple conjunction of energy that hasn't really happened at this degree in the zodiac in just under 200 years. So I was having a quick look back this morning, and the last time Jupiter, Venus, and Sirius came together was 1836. So this is not something that happens on an everyday basis. And from an ancient astrological perspective, I think we would have had all the magicians and priestesses out watching the morning skies, drawing down the energy and doing their magical rituals. So we're going to invoke a little bit of that for you today. But our main focus is to channel this energy into the land, into our sacred sites. Those of you who listened to our recent podcast would have heard us ranting about this for about an hour, so we won't repeat it all here. But what we're seeing at a lot of the sacred sites at the moment seems to be almost conscious effort to disconnect and monetize what used to be free and open to everybody. So, of course, we're seeing a bit of this in the controversy in Glastonbury, but I've also, witnessed it at Stonehenge and the impending restrictions that are coming in at places like Avebury and the Rollright stones as well. So as we move into this Aquarian Aeon, which is so much about remembering our connection to the cosmos, protecting these sites is very, very important. These are our connection to our ancestors. These are our remembrance to our star lineages. These are the things that remind us that we are more than the mundane world. So today we are going to work really consciously to channel that energy, that beautiful, beautiful cosmic energy into the landscape through the dragon lines, and do a bit of healing for ourselves and remember our own past lives a little bit too. So please pop any questions into the chat box. But I will hand you over to Morgana, who's going to explain a little bit about what a magical working is.
So good morning, everyone, or hello whenever you're watching. So what an auspicious day to be doing a magical working, and to give you a little bit more of an introduction into the work that we do in the Stellar Mystery School. So a magical working is an act of really focused intention, whether it's by one person or whether it's by a group like us today, of magicians, of sorceresses. And it's really a ritual which is going to cultivate a lot of energy and then direct that energy for a specific outcome, which is for the benefit of all. So what we're doing today is really creating a magical current which is going to unfold over time. It's really going to change the fabric of reality as well. So as part of a magical working, we always set an intention. And our intention today is to really protect and to activate the sacred lands of Albion, of these sacred isles in which some of us live in, as we really move and enter this Aquarian Aeon. So what we're going to do today is really channel the energy of the cosmos into the serpent lines, into the dragon lines, awakening the guardians of the land, the guardians of the stones, but also remembering our roles as priestesses, as druids, as keepers of the stone temples, keepers of the star temples as well. So the way that we're going to work this magical working is we're just going to ground our energies into the cosmos. We're going to call in the directions. We're going to invoke the astrological elements, the star and the serpent goddesses. And we're going to draw this light down into our sacred sites of Albion, really invoking the blessings and the protections of the ancestors. We're then going to do beautiful journey with Maria. We're going to do some star magic as well, to really get into and set our intentions so that we can see this energy rippling out through our own personal practice. And then we will close our working with a dismissal of the directions, getting us really, really grounded. So that is the kind of overview of what we are doing today. And if you, again, if you've got any questions about it, just please feel free to put it into the chat as well. So now we kind of hand over to Maria as we do start to open our ceremony and open this amazing magical working.
Thank you. And I did have a little visit. I was just telling Morgana, actually, I had a little visit from one of the guardians of Avalon in my dreams last night. I met the goat-foot god in my dreams. So these beings are very, very real. These elemental, astrological, and etheric beings that work with the ritual landscapes. So we're going to begin with a small grounding in, and you're going to hear myself and Morgana call to the elements and directions and cosmic energies, some of the stellar energies, the star guardians as well. So this will be similar but slightly different to some of you who might be used to the Wiccan or Avalonian wheels, because it's a little bit more astrologically focused. And you can stand up and move around in the directions with us if you would like to, or you can just do it with intention. But we will begin in the east, the place where the sun is rising, and also the place at the moment where Jupiter and Venus are rising in the early morning skies. And also here, Lexi's popped into the chat a little document which has some images of some of the sacred sites that you might remember. So just to invoke and inspire, there's some pictures of Anglesey and Cornwall. I know, Michelle, you're down there. There's some pics of Orkney and just some of the various places that I've traveled to. So you can look at those for remembrance and inspiration. And there's also some astrological symbols and sigils at the bottom that you will need a little bit later on. So let's begin. So just taking some long, deep breaths. Just really calling all of your energy into this moment. Letting go of anything that does not need to be in this space. Feeling the beautiful, beneficent astrological energies swirling within you. Feel the waters of Cancer cleansing and opening your heart. You might like to visualize your heart opening like the blue rose of Sirius. Feeling this deep connection to the movements of the cosmos within our own body. Knowing that we are not separate from the land and the sky. Feeling yourself becoming like a standing stone, rooted in the earth, full of ancient knowledge, full of strength and wisdom, yet also reaching up to the cosmos, knowing, remembering your own celestial origins. Feeling strong, steady, rooted, yet also expansive, soft, and open. As we ground our energies in and begin to call to the astrological elements. So just gently facing the east, if you can. And we welcome the guardians of the east. We call to the star Aldebaran, the watcher of the east, to draw near to us. We welcome the blazing heat of the zodiacal fire goddesses We call to Aries, the warrioress, Leo, the lioness, and Sagittaria, the archeress. We welcome the elemental fire goddesses and guardians of this land. Hail and welcome.
And just turning to the south. And we welcome the guardians of the south. And we call the star Formhout, the watcher of the south, to draw near to us. And we welcome the zodiacal water goddesses, the womb waters of Cancer, Scorpio, the dark witch and sorceress, the dark waters of alchemy. And we welcome Pisces, she who is the dreamer and the oracular vision. And we welcome the elemental water goddesses of the land. And then gently turning to the west. We welcome the guardians of the west. We call to Antares, the watcher of the west, to draw near. And we welcome in the goddesses of air, Gemini with her quick silver energy, Libra, she who is Matt, she who is justice. And we call to Aquaria, she who is the cosmic mother, reminding us that we are individual within the web of the whole. And we welcome the elemental air goddesses and guardians of the land.
Turning now to the north, the direction of the ancestors. When we call to the guardians of the northern gate, we call to Regulus, the star that is the watcher in the north, to draw near. We welcome the zodiacal goddesses of the earth element. We welcome Taurus, the luscious, bountiful embodiment of Venus. We welcome Virgo, the priestess, the druidess, the healer. And Capricornia, the wise and ancient Caliac, the crone. We welcome the elemental goddesses of the land, of the stones, of the mountains, of the earth.
And to the stars that guide us, and to the stones that hold the wisdom of the ages. Join us today with your knowledge and your wisdom and your solid presence as we watch the turn of the ages. And above us, Ari Anrod, goddess of the cosmos, lady of high magic, sorceress of the stars, lady protective, lady guiders, and lady spin for us our magical working into the weave of life.
And below us, we feel the writhing serpentine energy of the Pythia, the dragoness, the great serpentessa of the lands, the guardian of the lays. We sink into you and we ask you to walk with us today, to keep us grounded as we anchor in this starlight energy, this frequency of healing and magic. We call to the ancestors, and we call to Ellen of the Star Pathways to guide us deep on our journeys today, through the layers of time and space, down the star pathways of the lands. And we call to Melusine, the Mer goddess, the ancestress of the waters of the holy springs and wells which flow from her body. So just feeling the presence of these beings, feeling them supporting us as we take this journey together this morning. So I'm just going to invite you now to drop deeper into that meditative space, becoming more and more relaxed, focusing once more on that blue rose in the center of your being, the star rose, the rose of Sirius, the spiritual sun. And with our breath and intention, we allow this blue starlight vortex to begin to expand within us, opening out into a portal that we can step inside. And we begin to journey down, 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 down into ourself. Down, down, down through layers of time and space. Down through the aeons. Feeling more open, feeling more and more receptive as we journey through the Syrian portal of light. And as we emerge from the other side, we realize that we are now in a completely different place, in a completely different time. Yet the landscape feels familiar to us. We have journeyed back to a lifetime where we were one of the sacred guardians of the ritual landscapes of this land of Albion. Our feet are rooted in the sacred soil beneath us, and we breathe in the fresh morning air. As we look in front of us towards the horizon, we see that daylight is breaking, and just rising gently above the land in the east are two celestial objects shining like very bright stars. And we recognize these beings as Jupiter, the golden goddess of abundance and expansion, and Lady Venus, the morning and evening star. And we know that behind them, although we cannot see her so clearly with our naked eye, is Sirius, the blue star, the mother star. We let the rays of these goddesses begin to penetrate our energy fields, feeling bathed in their light as they shimmer on the twilight horizon. We begin to walk through this landscape, which is so familiar to us. We know it deep within our soul. The land beneath our feet remembers us from many, many lifetimes. The presence of the ancestors surrounds us as we walk down one of the old ley tracks, one of the old processional routes of the land. And just allowing your consciousness to drift, to remember who you have been, to see where you are. Perhaps you are in the landscape of Avalon, back in the times when she was just an island, when standing stone still stood on top of the tall. Maybe you are on Weariel Hill or Bride's Mound. Perhaps you have traveled back to her sister isle, whose name in the ancient tongue is Mona. Yet today we call her Anglesey. Perhaps you are walking towards the ancient burial mound of Bryn Celedi, crossing the small stream and following the track which will lead to her entrance. Maybe you are in one of the great ritual centers of the South. Maybe you are stood amongst the giant megaliths of the Great Henge, where the lays meet. Or perhaps you find yourself in the winding Serpent temple of Avebury, the mother goddess. Maybe you are even further south in the lunar wound temples of Kurnow or Cornwall, with its crystal white shimmering stones. Boscawen, Menethol, these ancient feminine oracular sites at the edge of the land. Or maybe you are in the north. Maybe you are in the great valley of Castlerig, surrounded by the Peak District Mountains. Or maybe even further north in one of the stone temples of Scotland. Maybe you have reached as far as Orkney itself with its blade-like stones. Or perhaps you find yourself in Ireland. Perhaps you find yourself touching the spiral patterns at the entrance to New Grange. Perhaps you have had many lifetimes in many temples. And as we journey today, we call back your soul gifts and memories from these lifetimes. Now you have a sense of where you are. Seeking out a stone or a place on the land which was significant for you in this lifetime. Remembering your work here. Remembering your priestess life. Perhaps you were a ritualist, a healer, an oracle, a visionary. Perhaps you were one who saw and prophesied the turning of the aeons. Opening your heart to the stones and the land. Feeling them welcoming you and remembering you. As you remember your day-to-day life, the people that you lived and journeyed with. Perhaps you find an altar with your own magical tools sitting upon it. Perhaps you become aware of the presence of the goddess who was honored in this landscape. And she thanks you for being here doing this work today. Feeling so peaceful, feeling so at home as you reclaim all of these memories. And you cast your eyes back up to the cosmos now from wherever you are in time. And you see that Jupiter and Venus and Sirius have risen higher in the sky. They are overlighting the temple that you are stood within. Their energy is pulsing silvery blue starlight. And you raise your arms up towards the stars. And you become the vessel through which this light can be channeled into the land. Raising your arms up now and just feeling the light of the cosmos pouring down through you. The light of the goddess. The light of healing and inspiration and spiritual sustenance and nourishment. Witnessing the rising of the stars, the same stars that your ancestors watched rise. Letting this energy flow through you, down through your crown, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your womb, down through your thighs and shins, sending your energy roots down as you channel this cosmic light into the land, into the sacred site that you are standing within. Feeling the stones, the soil humming and vibrating. Feeling the earth drinking in this frequency. And with our intention, we send this energy through the serpent lines of the land, the vast crossing, writhing dragon lines, and the smaller lays that connect each site. And just seeing all of us in the landscape at these sacred sites, at these moments in time, lighting up the grid of Albion, this sacred, sacred island, this sacred land of the goddess. Feeling your love for her as you pulse this energy through, seeing the lines clearing, seeing each site connecting with the other, knowing that you have had lifetimes in many of them, that you have traveled backwards and forwards between these temples, sharing and receiving knowledge. Seeing the serpent spine of the land, luminous with the cosmic rays of Jupiter, Venus, and Sirius. Sending this energy deep, deep down into the dragon lines. Feeling the serpent goddess, receiving this energy, honoring those who have returned as guardians of the land. And just spending a few moments here in this deep space of communion, remembering, reclaiming, and honoring, knowing that you and the land are not separate. Knowing yourself as vast and cosmic. but also earthly and embodied. Seeing the pulsing waves of energy clearing any energetic interferences, anything that would seek to restrict or distort the energy of these places. Making them sovereign. And just communing with the stones, with the land, with the goddess. Perhaps she has a message for you about your role, about the landscapes that you need to work with at this time. And just sending one more wave of energy through. And just gently bringing yourself back into the awareness of the temple, the stone temple in which you began your journey. Giving thanks and feeling this site offering you its gratitude for the work you have done. Gently coming back into awareness of where you are, of the cosmos above you, and the processional pathway beneath your feet. As you gently begin to follow this trackway back to where you began your journey. The sky is darker now, and you see many stars and constellations shining above you. As you walk back towards the portal of light, the blue rose light, that will lead you back into your body. Gently coming up, up, up now, bringing all of this energy with you back into your heart, back into this timeline, this reality. And gently rooting into the land which you are in now. Knowing that all land is sacred land. all of us are part of the living ecology and landscape of this earth, wherever we currently reside. Letting that light flow into the land beneath your feet, letting it fill your home, letting it fill the atmosphere around you with magic and blessings. Just gently opening your eyes when you're ready. You can just take a few moments here with your journal. And I would love for you to share in the chat which star temple you went to and what you felt and saw. And I love that there's 13 of us here. That feels very appropriate. So just taking all of the time you need and really noting what you received, the lifetime that you remembered, which will be very significant for you for this coming Jupiter-Venus cycle. They won't meet again in Cancer for another 12 years. And they won't meet with Sirius next time. They won't meet again with Sirius for a very, very, very long time. I was very strongly at Bryn Celyn in Anglesey, which is one of my favourite places anyway. But I was just remembering how, or seeing how it was very different when it was first constructed to what we see now, hey? Now it's very much a burial chamber, but in ancient times it actually started off as a circle of stones. Yes, please let us know where you were and what you saw and felt. And also, as you're journaling, you may like to think of what intentions you have for the next 12 years. What Venusian, Jupiterian, Syrian invocations would you like to weave into your own life? The energy of Cancer, where this conjunction is happening, very much supports us in healing our lineages, our maternal and ancestral lines, finding a place that we feel is home, opening ourselves up to receive the nurturing and love that we desire. And of course, Sirius brings us profound spiritual activation and connection to Goddess. But Jupiter and Venus conjunctions just on their own are very powerful energies to harness for creating abundance, for creating beauty, for magnetizing love and opportunity, all the things that we desire. So So the idea with a magical working or any kind of manifestation or ritual work is that it changes us to become the person we need to be to receive what we are desiring. And once we get that desire, we will probably have another one, eh? Such is the nature of life and the human experience. But for now, what is it that you desire? Look at the chat box. So beautiful. Interesting, Lynn. Yeah, there is an interesting energy around there at Durrington Walls and Woodhenge. I wonder if you were maybe feeling into the energy of what's happening around there at this time. Did everybody manage to feel the energy of that conjunction coming through them? Yeah. It's beautiful, Emily. I thought a lot of you might be in Glastonbury. It is the epicenter of all things, eh? Wow, that's interesting. Egypt to Glastonbury. I think there's a very strong connection between those two places, which I don't know whether I talked about that on the podcast before, but there's very strong connections between the lands of Albion and Egypt. I think I was saying to one of the groups at the weekend, we've just come back from Karnak, where there is, which is obviously part of Old Brittany. And there is there a massive Isis statue that people still worship to this day. So I always think there's a very strong connection. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sirius is very electric blue in colour, I always find, and that's she's behind us. Actually, we've both got Sirius behind us, which I forgot to mention earlier. Yeah, blue light from Sirius. So yeah, she is the spiritual sun, the sun behind the sun. So if everybody is back in reality, we're just going to do a little bit of start sigil work now, just to use this energy for our own healing and manifestation. So one of the ways that the ancient alchemists and priestesses and magicians, really since the Eleusinian times, would have worked with astrology is through the use of sigils and symbols. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the planetary glyphs, the things that we see on our birth chart or on astrology charts, which symbolize the planets. But we also have sigils for specific stars, the 13 Behenian stars in particular, of which Sirius is, of course, one. Sometimes these are called the alchemist stars because they are said to be the most powerful stars that you can work with magically. And you heard us invoke the ones that rule over the different directions when we began our journey today as well. But for our purposes today, we will, of course, work with Sirius. So in ancient times, priestesses would have invoked celestial energies through the use of invocation and the drawing of these sigils. So on the little document that is in the chat box, if you scroll right down to the bottom, you will see the sigil for Sirius and you'll see the glyphs for Jupiter and Venus if you don't know them already. I'm hoping most of you do because you've been through the silver spiral. But the Sirius one is slightly more complex. So just spend a few moments looking at that one in particular. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw each of these symbols onto a folded piece of paper. So I want you to draw it on the front of your paper if possible. And we're going to draw them as we hear their invocations. So Morgana has made a special invocation for Sirius. Actually, she channeled it yesterday. But she's also rewritten the ancient Orphic hymns for the planets from a goddess perspective. So we're going to hear this invocation to Sirius. We're going to hear the Orphic hymns of Jupiter and Venus. And as you listen to them, just feel that energy channeling into these symbols as you draw them. Yeah. Has everybody got them? Are we all okay with that? Fabulous. I can maybe put Sirius up on my screen, actually.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah. I need to remember what it looks like. So here is my beloved Brinkelly. Probably my favourite place on Earth. That photo was taken by James, who's in Dartmoor this morning trying to see Jupiter and Venus, but it's very foggy. But this was taken as Venus rose as the morning star after her retrograde in Leo of summer 2023. So Venus was above us in the morning sky as we walked there. So that is a beautiful moment in time. And all of these pictures are by James. Maybe we can put his link for his Facebook megalith picture page in the email as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is Sirius. So we can see it's even got the crescent moon there, which is symbolic of the goddess. So I'll pop these symbols up on the screen, maybe while Lexi is invoking.
So just as you're drawing your Sirius sigil, lady, glowing lady of starry skies, she who is the electric white blue of seasonal change, Sopdet, Sothis, and mother of Sopdu, our Lady Venus, starry deity, goddess of floods and fertility, she who is the bringer of the new year, and the floods after the scorching summer sun, she whom is the star of Egypt, the heat of Grecian summer, the star of the Maltese temples, the lady of Göbekli Tepe, whom chases Orion across the sky. Lady, bless us with your light, guiding us home to our ancient temples, sharing your star lore as we share our starry praise.
So just feeling the energy of Sirius channeling into your sigil. And remembering that a lot of these star temples were also built to align with the rising and setting of Sirius. Yeah, Sirius was incredibly important, not only to the Egyptians, but to the Celtic people as well. Just feeling that energy of Sirius pulsing into your paper. What spiritual nourishment are you seeking? Usually anything we are desiring to create is coming from the desire to connect with Goddess in one way or another, hey? We want to see her in the eyes of the beloved. We want to rebuild the temples in her honor. We want to be of service to her in our daily work. The power of drawing that. Been drawn by many magicians. Next, we have the more familiar symbol or glyph of Our Lady Venus, who we are all familiar with, I am sure. The sphere above the cross of metta. So just drawing your Venus symbol and thinking about what you would like to magnetize into your life as we hear her invocation.
Hear my invocation from my heart, fair queen of the skies, heavenly, illustrious, and laughter-loving queen, sea-born from foam and wave. Hear the invocation from my heart, walking with mortals, beautiful enchantress, lustful lover and vengeful war goddess, seeker of justice, bringer of fertility and sacred new life, lady of many names, many faces, and many roles. She whom is the goddess of fertility, war, lust, and love. The luminous queen of heaven and earth. She whom is the light bringer, Lucifera, and the dying star of rebirth, Hespera. Fair in beauty, exuding light, lady of many names and faces, is Inanna, Ishtar, Astarte, Aphrodite, and Venus. Come, Cyprus born, and to my prayer incline, exalted in the heavens you shine. From the temples of Mesopotamia, Sumeria, and Babylon, Lady of Phoenicia, goddess of Greece, hear my words, and draw close with scent of rose and jasmine. Show me your many faces. Bless me with your light and empower me with your glory. Grant me fierce grace, connection, and community with my star sisters.
Just feeling the magnificence of Our Lady Venus. Feeling the beauty that you would like to create. Feeling gratitude for the beauty of this earth. Next, we see Jupiter, or Jupitera, as we like to call her in the goddess astrology tradition, because we see her as the sovereign queen, the sovereign goddess of abundance, enthroned wearing her peacock-colored robe. So Jupiter encourages limitlessness. She encourages expansion. sometimes too much. But when we're working with this Jupiter energy, we want to envision and open to all possibilities. Yeah, so what is the best, most magnificent outcomes and things that you could desire to manifest in your life? There was no limitation. What would you do? What would you call in? So, focusing on Jupiter as we hear her invocation.
O Lady Jupitera, much honoured and supremely great, to thee our holy rites we consecrate. Hear us, our prayers and salutations, Lady of luck and Lady of expansion. For all the things that you touch are exalted and shine. The earth is thine and mountains swell high. Bless us with the gifts of grain and bounty of the earth and seas. High fruitful mother, Lady Jupitera, Queen of the Cosmos, the adventure of life and the movements that encourage and inspire us. With wealth, prosperity, and excellent health, bless us. Help us reap the blessings and good fortune we deserve. Guide us to follow your cosmic order so that we learn but also receive.
So just feel those invocations are so, so powerful. So just seeing these three symbols luminous with that blue light on your paper. And really tuning in to now the desires of your soul. So on the inside of your paper, underneath the symbols or around the symbols, whatever you choose, we are going to write our intentions. And it is always a good idea to write them as if you already have them. So under this very auspicious once in a lifetime astrology, what are you manifesting? And how is that serving the evolution of the collective? I'm just going to leave you here for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. naughty cats thinking it's dinner time again already. I don't know whether you can hear them. That's Lilith in the background. It's reminding me not to forget that this conjunction is actually trining Lilith in Scorpio as well, and it's trining my natal Venus. So I've got a beautiful water trine going on in my chart today, which is always nice. And our big intention at the Stellar Mystery School is always to recreate a living, breathing star temple. And star temple for the new aeon. Okay. So once you've written down your intentions, you can fold your paper over, you can place your hands over your sigils, and just allowing that cosmic energy to infuse all that you are creating in service to the goddess. Just visualizing everything that you desire already complete. Seeing your future self. Bringing all of those gifts from those other lifetimes in service to these intentions. I think we often find ourselves playing very similar roles lifetime through lifetime, as can be seen through the South Node in the birth chart, as many of you know. So just feeling that and feeling gratitude for everything that you already have. We are also in this Lammas season where we receive the bounty of the goddess. We see everything coming to fruition around us. And we recognize all that she gives us to nourish us and sustain us physically with the foods and waters and air, but also spiritually. So you have just created your magical sigils, and you can continue to work with them in whichever ways you choose. And you can maybe work with them in a way that invokes the element that aligns with your desires as well. So you might like to carve these into a candle or place your paper underneath a candle to charge up your desires with fire. You can put a crystal on it to anchor the energies in for physical manifestation. One of my favorite ways to work with this energy, particularly as it's happening in the sign of Cancer, would be to put my sigils under a glass of water and allow it to infuse the water, and then maybe drink the water before bed. You can put it under your pillow so that you can go off into the airy astral realm and dream and receive inspiration in the night. But just keeping it close to you and working with it, especially over the next few days as Sirius is rising, as Venus and Jupiter remain close together. Yeah. So it's a very beautiful and auspicious time. And if you can, get out to the sacred sites or do something on the land close to you. Make an offering. Connect with the guardians and elementals of your sacred space. I'm just reading in the chat box. That's really beautiful. A 7-colored serpent. I like that. Abraxas, the caterpillar. Interesting. Yeah, you definitely wanted to be remembered in this working today. I've never had a dream about him before. So yeah, very, very interesting. So I think we will bring our ceremony today to a close, and once we stop the recording, we'll stay online for a little bit so people can talk and share if they would like to. I love goats. I love goats. They're my favorite. I love goats and I love rams. Of course, being an Aries, hey? So we will just spend a few moments now closing down the direction and bringing our energy back in. The sun is shining beautifully here in the Midlands now. So we really feel the heat of the dog days of Sirius. So just taking some breaths and just really centering yourself, feeling all of that energy filtering through you, allowing yourself to reconnect with the earth, coming back into your body as we turn again to the east. And we thank the guardians of the eastern gateways. We thank Aldebaran, the watcher in the east. We thank the zodiacal fire goddesses of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. We thank the elementals and fire goddesses of the land. Hail and farewell. You're on mute.
Sounding so good. We thank the guardians and watchers of the South. We call to form helps the watcher of the South with gratitude. And we thank the zodiacal water goddesses of Cancer, of Scorpio, and Pisces. And thank the elemental water goddesses of the land. Hail and farewell. And we thank the guardians of the western gates. And we thank Antares, the watcher of the west. And we thank the zodiac goddesses of air, of Gemini, Libra, and Aquaria. And also thank the elemental air goddesses of the land. Hail and farewell.
And we turn to the north and we give thanks to the guardians and ancestors of the northern realms. We give thanks to Regulus, the stellar watcher of the north. We thank the zodiacal goddesses of earth, Lady Taurus, Virgo the priestess, and Capricornia. We thank the elemental earth goddesses of the land. And we give thanks to the stars that guide us, and to the stones that hold the wisdom of the aeons. We give thanks to those who have joined us today. We give gratitude for your knowledge, presence, and support.
And above us, we call with gratitude to Ari Anrod, goddess of the cosmos, lady of high magic and sorceress of the stars, lady protectors, lady guiders, and lady spin for us our magical working into the weave of life. Lady, thank you and farewell.
And we give thanks to the great Pythia, the serpentessa of these lands. And we ask her to hold this frequency. We ask her to carry this energy through our sacred sites for healing, for clearing, and for empowering. May the work we have done today open the energies of the star temples of Albion once more. May our sacred sites be reclaimed with love. Blessed be.
Blessed be. So just taking a breath, bringing yourself back gently. So just before I stop the recording and we can share a little bit, just thank you so much from both of us for joining us, for taking time out of really busy lives and bringing your energy. I think we've had a really magical number. So, and if you're watching on replay, apologies for the Zoom snafu. But we will get it out to you really quickly. So I am going to download the recording. I'll put it on YouTube later today so we can access it without you having to go back into Zoom, and I will email you all with the links as well. Obviously, if you don't know us, we invite you to connect to us on Facebook, on Instagram, and yeah, if you enjoyed working with us, we're going to be doing a planetary magic course in September based on astrological magic. I will send out a lot more details in the email because there's a lot of energy going on today. So just a little something to think about. And I think Maria just wants to just mention Sacred Stars and Stones tours to really help you and inspire you connect to the land. And there you go, Maria, that's your Black Labrador on the screen.
Oh, I had a Black Labrador in my dream last night too, Lynn. It was very, very friendly. I was thinking I bet somebody has a Black Labrador, but I didn't know you did. Interesting. I'm obviously coming up to Scotland soon. But on that note, I will pop in the chat box the link for Stars and Stones, which I know many of you have seen before. But this work feels incredibly important at this time. So whether you come with us, we're heading out for a trip next weekend, actually, to the Cotswolds, including the amazing Bella's Nap, which I posted about yesterday, but also Dragon Hill. So if you want to come and connect with the Serpent Mother, Dragon Hill is the place. If you haven't been, it's just under the White Horse at Uffington and close to Wayland Smithy as well. So it's a very magical landscape. But we'll be heading out there next weekend, and obviously we'll be going to Cornwall for the eclipses, and then to Anglesey a bit later in the year. But these temples, I think, are calling, and the cats too. The temples are calling for those who are here to remember. So thank you so much, everybody. It's been so beautiful to spend today with you. Thank you for all the lovely comments.